Good afternoon, welcome to VANIK-IAS. We'll discuss current affairs of 2nd July. First, we'll discuss positive questions, then some prelim facts, and two mains topic. Which of the following are the recommendation of Gargill report? Entire stretch of Western Ghats should be declared as ecological sensitive area. Complete ban of mining in ecological sensitive zone 1 and regulation of mining in ecological ESZ 2. Divide Western Ghats into natural landscape and cultural landscape. Western Ghats Ecological Authority was proposed to be set up as a statutory body and given powers under Environment Protection Act 1986. See, this question is here: why inside a forest you need a cultural landscape? There is nothing cultural landscape. It is not needed, right? In this recommendation of Gargill Committee, it is only based on environmental aspect. So there is no dividing that it is natural landscape or cultural landscape. The objective is to reduce the human interference, right? So this statement is wrong. If 3 is wrong, then this is wrong and this is wrong. Only 1 and 2 or 1 and 2 and 4. So 1 and 2 are right. Next is whether 4 statement is right or wrong. The question is that yes, this is right. Ecological Authority was proposed to set up as a statutory body given powers under Environmental Protection Act. This is a right thing. It is proposed as a statutory body. So Gargill Committee it has recommended the whole Western Ghat to be declared as ecological sensitive zone, right? And it has divided the total area into ESZ1, ESZ2 and ESZ3, right? And based on that it has given the recommendation. Okay, there is also another significant report, that is committee that was established by Kasturi Rangan committee, right? Kasturi Rangan committee it was also established by the Gargill, also established to oversee the Western Ghat, right? But it has not recommended the total area to be declared as ecological sensitive zone. It has given the recommendation to declare 37% of the total area to be declared as ecological sensitive zone, right? And in those areas, complete ban of mining, quarrying, and sand mining will be done. That is Kasturi Rangan committee. But Gargill committee has said that to declare the total Eastern Ghat as ecological sensitive zone. Next, with reference to leprosy in India, consider the following statements. Leprosy in India. Indian leprosy eradication program launched in the year 1955. Leprosy eradication program. See, eradication is eradication means 1 per 10,000 population, which is it's the last stage of a disease control program. Initially, they start controlling. After controlling, then there is eradication. They will take steps for eradication. So, when a disease from prevalence of a disease is very severe, we cannot talk about eradication. We can talk about control, right? So, during the period of 1955, just after independence, there was so many prevalence of the disease. So, this can never be in 1955. So, first option is wrong, right? Actually, it started in 2005, right? Leprosy is not hereditary. This is right. It's not a hereditary. It only transfers from one patient to the disease transfers by droplets from the breathing of the person, right? So it is not hereditary. That like TB, leprosy can be treated. Yes, it can be treated. Whenever she can, then that is right. By multi-drug therapy, MDT, yes, by MDT it can be treated. So two and three options are right, right? See, this leprosy is it is a chronic disease. It is by bacterial infection, and that is Mycobacterium leprae. Mycobacterium leprae is the leprae is the it is the bacteria that causes leprosy, right? It is also called as Hansen's disease. Remember, Hansen's disease. Leprosy is also called as Hansen's disease. Okay, next. Yes, and this yes, India started leprosy control program in 1955. Leprosy control leprosy control program was started in 1955, right? In India started leprosy elimination project, national leprosy elimination program in leprosy elimination in India started leprosy eradication program, national leprosy eradication program in 2005, right? Okay. So what are the symptoms of leprosy? Symptoms of leprosy are red patches on skin, red patches on the skin, skin lesion, right? Then numbness in arms, numbness in arms, hands and legs, hands and legs, right? And muscle weakness. These are the symptoms of and muscle weakness. These are the symptoms of leprosy. The biggest problem with leprosy is that it has long incubation period. Right? It usually takes about 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years incubation period to the for the symptoms to appear. Suppose you are taking the suppose leprosy bacteria enter your body, then after 3 and 5 years the symptoms will appear. That's the biggest problem, right? The long incubation period. It has long incubation period. Consider the following statements with regard to PSLV, Orbital Experimental Module or POEM, recently launched by ISRO. PSLV Orbital Experimental Module POEM, recently launched by ISRO. It has the special feature of POEM is that it will derive all the powers only from solar panels mounted around the PS4 tanks in all stages. No, it has also lithium-ion battery, right? Lithium-ion battery. So it is, so whenever you see all or only, chances is that they are wrong. Here it is also wrong. So POEM, which is PSLV orbital experimental module, it is not only it will take the energy from solar panels and also from lithium-ion batteries, right? POEM has a dedicated navigation guidance control NGC system, which will act as the platform's brain to stabilize it in altitude with specific accuracy. Like Navic is also, or IRNSS is also are working here regarding the navigation, right? So it will stabilize in its altitude at specific accuracy. So 2 is the answer, right? Next. Which of the following is world's lightest satellite? World's lightest satellite is CalamSat. CalamSat V2, it has been launched. It is world's lightest satellite. Kalamsat V2 is the world's lightest satellite. It's educational satellites, right? It's an educational satellite or communication satellite. Can also say communication satellite. It's the lightest satellites of the world. It is launched by PSLV. Right? Obviously, it is launched by PSLV because PSLV is the we have PSLV and GSLV and SSLV. GSLV for heavy payloads, PSLV for polar satellite launch vehicle, and in some very extremely small satellites, that is SSLV, small satellite launch vehicle. Right? Okay, World Leprosy Day. World Leprosy Day. We have already discussed everything regarding leprosy. World Leprosy Day is celebrated in the last Sunday of every January for creating awareness. Last Sunday of every January. Last Sunday of every January is celebrated as World Leprosy Day. With reference to microplastics, consider the following statements. With reference to microplastics, consider the following statements. Microplastics can be present in soil, water, and air. Can be present. Yes, they can be present. Microplastic can be present in soil, water, and air. Microplastics can be present. Can, whenever you say can, then there are chances that they are right. Act as a platform for the growth of pathogenic microorganisms. Yes, they can act as a platform for growth of pathogenic microorganisms. Microplastics can be accumulated biologically. So, which are the correct? All of the above are the correct. Because there is it can happen, right? Microplastics can accumulate biologically. Microplastics can be act as platform for the growth of pathogenic microorganisms. Microplastics present in soil, water, and air everywhere they are present, right? And their level is increasing. That is much more as compared to the prescribed level of WHO. Which of the following country is the first country in the world to ban manufacturing of single-use plastics? It is France. France has banned manufacturing of single-use plastics, but there is issue regarding packaging. There is issue regarding packaging of vegetables and fruits. So, in most of the cases, it has banned the use of single-use plastics. Single-use plastics are those plastics which cannot be recycled, right? Next question. Consider the following factors under nourishment by child learning, child stunting, child mortality. Which of the following are the indicators in determining global hunger index? Right. See, why learning thing will be included in global hunger index? Hunger means it's regarding food intake or nutritional intake. There is no relationship with child learning. So it is one under nourishment, child stunting. Stunting means low height. Child mortality means that was also one, three, four. These are the right answer regarding global hunger index. Next, Indian rupee. In recent context, the Indian rupee hit all-time low against US dollar. What is causing the rupee to lose value against dollar? Why rupee is getting weakened gradually? One thing is US Federal Reserve has been raising the benchmark interest rate. So whenever interest rate raised by US Federal Reserve, money get outflow from Indian market to US, right? When interest rate increases, US people want to invest in US. Rapid outflow of capital from India, yes. So there is demand of dollar. So whenever there is demand of dollar, then there obviously demand of dollar increases. So rupee increases. So demand of dollar increases, so rupee get weakened because dollar will become strong, right? It is a floating rate. We have a floating rate system. These rupee getting weakened or getting stronger, it is based on demand and supply, right? Okay, next. Snake Island frequently in news is associated with which of the following sea? Snake Island frequently in news is associated with Black Sea. It is just in the Black Sea, above the Black Sea, right? Just below the Ukraine. Black Sea. Because why it is why Snake Island is news? Because Snake Island it is just below the Ukraine, right? It is Russia has attacked the Snake Island of Ukraine, right? It has done military attack, airstrike in Snake Island. Black Sea was in news, right? Black Sea. Above Black Sea there is Ukraine. Here there is Ukraine. Here there is Russia or Russia's Crimean Peninsula. Then below it is Turkey. Right? This is Aegean Sea. Aegean Sea. And Aegean Sea. Then there is Sea of Marmara. Just Aegean Sea. There is Sea of Marmara. Right? And here there is Bulgaria, Romania, Black Sea. Here there will be Bulgaria and Romania. Bulgaria and Romania. Here you will see find Dardanelles Strait, Bosphorus Strait, and here it will be Mediterranean Sea. Mediterranean Sea will be here. It is linked like that. So this is many times they are in news. So please go through them. Right? Okay. Next. So the objective discussions is finished. Just wait a second. Then we will discuss some prelims facts. Why single-use plastic ban? Why there is single-use plastic ban? The Ministry of Environment will first study the prelims facts. Then we'll come to the main topic. First is poem, right? Besides placing 3 Singaporean satellites in precise orbit, Indian Space Research Organization also achieved feat of successfully launched PSLV Orbital Experimental Module or POM. The PSLV Orbital Experimental Module is a platform that will help platform in orbit experiments using the final and otherwise discarded stage of ISRO's Varkas rocket and polar satellite launch vehicle that will perform in orbit experiments, right? This will perform in orbit experiments using the using PSLV, right? We know that PSLV is a 4-stage rocket that is solid, liquid, and solid and liquid. And spent 3 stages fall in, where the first three spent stages fall back into the ocean. And the final stage PS4, after launching the satellite to the orbit, ends up in space junk. So space that it becomes a space debris. However, PSLV C-53 mission when final stage will be utilized as a stabilized platform to perform experiments. It's the first time PS4 stage would orbit the Earth as a stabilized platform. It will orbit the Earth as a stabilized platform, right? It will make some experiments that will not become a space debris. POEM is carrying 6 payloads, including 2 from Indian space startups, that is Digantara and Dhruva Space. Digantara and Dhruva Space, it is carrying 6 payloads by ISRO. It is launched by ISRO, that is POEM. PSLV Orbital Experimental Module. So the fourth stage will become an orbital experimental module and make experiment in the orbit. Okay. How ISRO keep POEM alive and stable in orbit. According to ISRO, POEM has dedicated navigation. POEM has dedicated navigation guidance control. Dedicated navigation guidance control system for its attitude stabilization. which stands for controlling orientation in any aerospace vehicle with permitted limits. The NGC will act as a platform's brain to stabilize with specified accuracy. So it will be stable by because it has a navigation control uh, by IRNSS. The poem will derive its power from solar panels, right? It will derive its power from solar panels and it will revolve around the Earth in the orbit, around the PS4 tank and lithium ion battery, right? There is also lithium ion battery and there is also from PS around the PS4 tank, and it will navigate using four sun sensors, magnetometer, gyros and navic. Four sun sensors, magnetometer, gyros and navic. Navic will work as a navigation. It carries dedicated control thrusters using helium gas storage. It enables with a telecommand feature. Has ISRO repurposed and used PS4 tank rocket junk earlier? The ISRO first demonstrated the capability of using PS4 as orbital platform in 2019, and PS4 C4 for mission injected microsat R and CubeSat V2 into their designated orbits. That mission kept Alif as an orbital platform for space-based experiments. So while launching microsat R and CubeSat V2 is the smallest satellite of world. So lightest satellite of the world. While launching them in the fourth stage, it has kept Alif to perform space-based experiments. The fourth stage of the vehicle was moved to a higher circular orbit of 453 km after two restarts of the stage to establish an orbital platform for carrying out experiments, right? So for that is in low earth orbit. Low earth orbit starts from 150 180 kilometer to 2000 kilometer. So it is reside it's get moved at 453 kilometer for orbital experiments. CubeSat V2, a student payload or education satellite first to use PS4 as an orbital platform, was taken into designated orbit about 1 hour and 40 minutes after the lit up, that is CubeSat, right? While in that mission, the fourth stage has lithium ion batteries, right? There is lithium ion batteries and solar panels at the addition of the time. They will provide energy. The latest repurposing and upgrade of the fourth stage of PSLV rockets involves stabilization of the orbital platform. It involves stabilization of the orbital platform. Then leprosy. Clofazimine. Clofazimine, key drug in treatment of leprosy, which has been in short supply in Indian market for several months, is now not available when the situation turning into crisis over past 3 months. Clofazimine is not available in Indian market. It is one of the three essential drugs in multi-drug treatment of multivascular leprosy, multivascular leprosy, along with rifampicin and dapsone. Rifampicin and dapsone and clofazimine. Remember these three medicines, right? Dapsone, rifampicin. These drugs are very easily available. Non-availability of clofazimine is dangerous situation. In all the three drugs have been given together to prevent drug resistance leprosy. To prevent drug resistant leprosy. Whenever drug resistance leprosy, that is a new, it is a new problem, but it is drug resistance, right? Drug resistance is a new problem that is created in case of bacterial disease or viral disease, right? So after that, medicines do not work inside your body. So in those cases, this clofamizine and rifampicin and dapsone is used. The present crisis of clofamizine is seriously affecting the India's leprosy treatment scenario, right? Drug resistance, it is the one of the severe, one top 10 severe health crisis of the world, right? Per year, around 7 lakh people die because of drug resistance. Okay, what is leprosy? Leprosy is a chronic infectious disease uh, caused by Bacillus Mycobacterium leprae, right? The bacteria is Mycobacterium leprae, M. leprae, uh, leprae. The symptoms of the disease occur generally after a long period of getting infection of our average 5 years. That's the biggest problem, incubation period. Incubation period is very high at an average 5 years. That means if today the bacteria enters to your body, after 5 years you know that you are suffering from leprosy, right? The disease mainly affects the skin, peripheral nerves, mucosa of the upper respiratory tract, the eyes classified as paucibacillary, few up to 5 skin lesions, pale and reddish, multivascular MB multiple more than 5 skin lesions, nodule, plaques, thickened dermis, skin infiltration. All these things leprosy. How does this disease spread? Untreated leprosy affected person is only known source. Untreated leprosy affected person is the only known source of transmission of bacteria. It may happen, right? Those because up to 5 years you will not know that you are suffering, you have leprosy, and if you came in contact with such people, then the transmission of bacteria and you get affected. From respiratory tract to of infected persons to environment, droplets from nose and mouth. These are, but this is the way by which leprosy transmits. Organisms enters healthy body through a respiratory system. Organisms migrates to knobs and schemes may cause permanent disability if not treated, right? So this may cause permanent disability. What are the signs and symptoms of leprosy? Leprosy should be suspected if a person shows following signs. Dark skin people might have light patches on skin, while pale skin people may have darker or reddish patches. Loss and decrease of sensation in the skin patches, numbness and or tingling on hand or feet, weakness of hands, feet and eyelids, painful nerves, swelling, lumps, face error, painless wounds, burns on hand and feet. All these things are the symptoms of leprosy. Right. Through treatment, MDT, multi-drug therapy. MDT is a combination of different drugs as a leprosy should never be treated any single anti-leprosy drug. One should be complete of the full course of MDT as prescribed by trained health worker according to the type of leprosy. Multi-drug therapy taken regularly ensures complete cure of leprosy, prevents deformities and stop transmission. Prevent deformities and stops transmission to other individuals. It prevents leprosy, deformities, and stops multi-drug therapy taken regularly. It must be taken regularly, otherwise it will transmit to other persons. Early diagnosis, appropriate treatment, and completion of full course will prevent the disability due to leprosy. Leprosy is not hereditary; it doesn't transmit from parent to children. Leprosy doesn't spread through causal touch like shaking hands or playing together or working the same office. Close and frequent contacts with untreated cases favors the spread, right? Close and frequent contact so that the droplets of mouth and breath will transmit that cause the spread. Leprosy is not the result of past sins or immoral behavior. It is caused by bacterium called as Mycobacterium leprae. People affected by leprosy have right to live life, right to livelihood and life to live with dignity. Under Article 21, that is the responsibility of collective responsibility to ensure that there is no discrimination or lack of or show such behavior so that the person will feel that dignity is getting affected. That's why leprosy, there is a SPURS program, that is leprosy awareness program, that is launched by government of India to reduce the such type of social stigma that it is caused by, because it is caused the result of past sins, right? Some data about leprosy in India. According to World Health Organization, leprosy is endemic in several states, union territories of India, with annual case rate detection rate from 4.5 per 10,000 population. Case detection is 4.56 per 10,000 population. The prevalence of leprosy is 0.4 per 10,000 population in the country. Of the new cases detected during 2021, 51% were multivascular, 39% are women, 15.5% of children less than 14 years of age, 2.4% had visible deformities. The rate of visible deformities was 1.1 per million population. right? 1.1 per million population. This is the data regarding leprosy, right? So now we can talk about eradication. Yes, next, national eradication. This is National Leprosy Control Program was launched in Government of India by 1955. Leprosy Control Program, right? It's not eradication, it's control. After the introduction of multi-drug therapy in 1980, the program was converted into National Leprosy Eradication Program, right? In the year 1983, National Leprosy Eradication in the 1983, with the objective of achieving eradication from the country. ASAs are helping in the case of detection and assure the complete treatment of community level. ASA workers, accredited social health activist. Under NLEP, National Leprosy Eradication Program, government has been ensuring the steady supply of monthly blister packs for 12 months to all the multivessel leprosy cases containing rifampicin, dapsone, and clofazimine. Right, this is blister packs for 12 months. Government is sending, right. National Leprosy Eradication Program. Right. Next is Western Ghat Ecology Expert Panel. The Kerala debates the Supreme Court order for maintaining at least a kilometer of eco-sensitive zone of protected areas. The Western Ghat Ecological Expert Panel report Gadgil report once again brings back to the public discourse. Gadgil report, right? Kerala debates the Supreme Court order, right? Maintaining at least a kilometer of ESZ for protected areas. In the year 2010, Western Ghat Ecology Expert Panel (WGE) was constituted by central government under the chairmanship Madhav Gadgil. WGEP recommendations for the preservation of fragile Western Ghat Peninsula region. Okay, what are the highlights of Gadgil report? It's recommended entire stretch of Western Ghats should be declared as eco-sensitive zone. Remember, entire stretch. Whereas the Costurangan Committee recommended only 37% of the Western Ghat as ecological sensitive zones. It recommended the revision region under three zones: ESZ1, ESZ2, ecological sensitive zone 2, ESZ3, and gave a broad outline, certain restriction for each zone. The committee has been recommended the division of the region into regions such as blocks at taluk level. They recommended that no new polluting industries, red and orange, are permitted in the ESZ and ESZ2. And gradual phasing out of such existing industries by 2016. The complete ban of mining in ESZ1 and regulation of mining in ESZ2. It has recommended that bottom to top approach to be followed in conservation of Western Ghats. Bottom to top approach. The Western Ghats Ecological Authority to be proposed to be separate as statutory body. It is proposed that this should be statutory body given the powers under the Environmental Protection Act 1986, right? So the most three important point is that it has recommended that entire states to be declared as ecological sensitive zone, whereas Costurangan Committee recommended only 37% of 37% of Western Ghat as ecological sensitive zone. Another thing is that it has recommended that it will be a statutory body. There should be a Western Ghat Ecological Authority declared as statutory body under the Environment Protection Act 1986, because in case of India, Western Ghat is one of the topmost region regarding ecological biodiversity. It's a biodiversity hotspot, right? Okay, it is consist of biospheres and sanctuaries, so many sanctuaries, highly eco-sensitive. What are methods to use by farmer organizations to influence the policymakers in India? How effective are these methods? Farmer organization to influence the policy, right? So especially they are talking about the pressure groups. The method used by pressure groups. Farmer organizations are pressure groups. Recently, why it is important to consult them in every, although they are consulted, but still maybe they are not properly consulted. That's why there is a long term protest against the farm laws, which was talking about liberalization of farm sector after the liberalization of 1991 LPG, after the LPG reforms, except agriculture sector, almost all other sectors are agriculture sector, and some sectors like atomic energy or railways, all other sectors have been taken the benefit of liberalization, and they have produced very good results. So in case of what so far the farm reform is concerned, we have not done any significant agriculture reform after the refugee reforms, right? In those lines, we have not allowed private sector to enter into farm sector because of various political pressures or whatever. The farm sector is not enjoying the benefits of private sector participation. In all other cases, we are using private sector. For example, in education, we are in health, we are taking the benefit of private sector, right? No no sector is exclusively given to private sector. There is always a government sector. For example, there is a government hospital, there is a private hospital. If you want to get treated free, but you have to wait some time, you have patience to wait some time, or you can wait in the queue, then you may go to government hospital. Some time will be there, and also that will not get full comfort, right? For example, but in case of a private hospital, if you want to, you'll go in comfort, you will stay in sit in AC, even the doctor will, you'll meet the doctor too earlier, then you may go to the private hospital. So private sector provides more quality. Many times they provide more quality and good service, right? For that you have to pay some money. In case of government sector, resources are few. As the government resources are few, government cannot invest the huge amount of money in case of health sector, because there is other sector as well, right? Every sector is important. We cannot say that there will not be research and development, stop spending in defense, stop spending in law and order, stop spending in education, only health, focus on health sector, stop spending in agriculture. So government is taking a balanced approach in every sector. So in such a situation, we cannot, mm, we cannot uh, focus on a particular health sector huge amount of money. So parallel, at the same time, government is developing its infrastructure and health sector, and parallelly also there is opportunity for the private sector. So it is a choice of the particular person to whether opt for the private sector or opt for the government sector. Now private sector lies with competition, right? That means it's, you have, according to your budget, you will go to the private sector, right? The most premium hospitals, they will take a huge amount of money. There is middle class hospital. Similarly, the farmers should get the benefit of private sector, like we are enjoying in private sector education, private sector health. In case of in private sector in farming also, that should be allowed. That is what farm laws what was bringing, but as opposed by various farm leaders, and finally it was taken back. Okay. Now, what are the methods by used? Especially it is talking about pressure group. Farmer group is a pressure group that they influence the policies. They are the voice of the marginalized sections. They are the voice of the farming community. So yes, we'll see. Farmer organization are seen as a useful organizational mechanism for mobilizing farmers. Collective self action aimed at improving their economic and social situation of their communities. Economic and social situation, because more than 80% of the farmers in India are small scale farmers. That means they have a land of less than 2 hectare. They are, especially they are the marginalized communities. Such organizations are positive, and such organization the ability to generate the resources, mobilize support, and exert pressure on the government to help their members to operate very different levels at local and nationals. So they, they work also at the local level, also at national level. Methods used by organizations. What are the methods used by organizations? They try to gain public support and sympathy. They try to gain public support and sympathy for their goals and their activities by carrying out information campaigns, organizing meetings, filing petitions. Most of these groups try to influence the media into giving more attention to their issue. Right? They tend to influence media. They tend to raise public opinion. So they generate awareness campaigns. Okay, they organize meetings, campaigns, petitions, all these things, and they get public support. Lobbying. Powerful farmers groups such as sugarcane farmers Maharashtra, UP try to influence the policy making by getting favorable MSP and payment of arrears, right? So they have a strong lobby also, many times. Especially it is seen that many times in post-independence India, these are they are primarily farmer movement, not peasant movement. The farmers are the farmer because in case although their the benefits of the government is going to the farmers, not to the peasants. The difference between the peasants and farmers is that peasants is a very small scale. Those who are not cultivating for commercial purpose, but those who are cultivating for their livelihood. They are called as peasant. And majority of these benefits goes to the farmers, the rich scale farmers who are cultivating in commercial purposes, right? They because they have strong lobby, they are the powerful persons, and also ultimately the aim of the government, that is poverty reduction and such things, and or welfare of the masses, that is not happening in because of the farmer politics, right? And the strong lobbying by the rich farmers. Protest, they often organize protests like strikes disrupting general administration, organize strikes and disrupting general administration. These protest of late have centered around issues like loan waiver, higher MSP, electricity, loan waiver. Such type many times we see in every state that has election, there is chances that there will be a loan waiver system, right? These protests have protests of late have centered around issues like the recent farmers march to Delhi under Bharatiya Kisan Sangh banner was such an example, right? They are demanding withdrawal of the laws, right? Withdrawal of the farm laws. Activism. The methods include publicizing important issues, petitioning courts, preparing draft legislation, and gaining public attention in matters related to farmers, like issues pertaining to GM crops. Right? Activism. Publicizing the important issues pertaining petitioning courts and preparing draft legislation to gain public attention. For example, GM crops. There is many opposition to GM crops with the speculation that they are harmful to the human bodies. They will change the genetic system, and also they may cause cancers, like in case of bitri binjal. Right. Many times there may be there chances that there will be abolition of some indigenous seeds. For example, at present time, 95% of the cotton cultivation are done by the BT cotton, not by the traditional cotton. So, because of economical purposes, so there is significant change in the biodiversity because the biodiversity is such a complex system that we do not understand the complete repercussions of it. What will the long-term impact? Nobody knows, right? It is very extremely difficult also to understand the long-term impact of any such steps. So that is why they are by various activists oppose them. Recent trends. Farmer organizations recently have also employed innovative ways like spoiling milk and vegetables on highways, to consume dead rats, urine, soil and urine at Delhi's Jantar Mantar, etc. That's why to oppose their issues. However, these moves have hardly bore the desired results. In situation of impending unrest of government often takes to populist measure instead of employing a solution which is good for the nation. The farmers are the in long run. Unrest of the government often takes populist measures, right? Such type of populist measure, which are short-term measures. For example, loan waiver. Loan waiver is not a solution to the issues of farmer. They can be invested in further irrigation matters, right? They can be huge amount of money. Many times these loan waivers also they creates a mind in the in case of loan waiver. For example, the rich farmers they take a huge amount of loan. They get the more benefit as compared to the poor farmers, right? And these are populist measures. They are not beneficial in longer run. The government option takes short-term respite such as farm loan waiver, high MSP, cash transfer to farmers' accounts. All these things are short-term respite to regarding the farmer to the agrarian crisis, right? Rather than investing in long-term investment, for example, irrigation or technological development, technological cooperation. There is even if the government resorts to such populist measures, its effective implementation is often absent. For example, rise in MSP is of no use if there is lack of infrastructure to procure gains from hinterland or if masses are unaware of such scheme, right? So there is also issues regarding awareness of people, right? So there is we need to strengthen our implementation of programs. Moreover, several policy recommendations have been implemented by the government is not fully aligned with the suggestions. For example, Prime Minister Committee recommendation has yet to be fully implemented. But when they get implemented there in the legislation, they are opposed by the farming committee itself. Although organizing protest and mobilizing support help in gaining attention of public and government, it can be argued that they are resulted in little on the ground. Yes, it's a fact that just by the result is less. Many times they, for political purposes, they are opposing the moves, which is already given by the Swaminathan recommendation, one is the committee recommendation, right? Okay, so why single-use plastic ban? The Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, Forest and Climate Change has issued Gazette notification in the year 2021 announcing ban from July 1, 2022 and June 20 on June 20 and defined it as a list of items that will be banned, right? For single-use plastic, right? Why the single-use plastic? As the name suggests, it refers to plastic items that can be used once and discarded. Single-use plastic has among the highest shares of plastic manufactured and used. From packaging items to bottles, shampoo, detergent, cosmetics, polythene bags, face masks, coffee cups, and cling film, trash bags, food packaging, these are single-use plastics. According to report by one of the Australian philanthropic organization, Mindero Foundation, single-use plastics account for a third of all plastic produced globally, with 98% manufactured from fossil fuels. 98% manufactured from fossil fuels. Single-use plastic accounts for the majority of plastic discarded, 130 million metric tons globally in 2019, all of which are burned, buried, landfills, discarded directly to the environment. Right. So 98% manufactured from all plastics produced globally, with 91% manufactured from fossil fuels. Single plastics, majority of plastics are discarded, around 130 million metric tons, and they are burned, buried in landfills and discarded directly to the environment. When they are burned, they produce carbon emission. When they're discarded into environment and the landfills, they pollute the groundwater many times. They pollute the groundwater, it becomes impermeable. And landfills, they do not, as they are not biodegradable, they do not mix with the land for uh, hundreds or not less than 500 years. On the current trajectory of the production, it has been projected that single-use plastic could account for 5 to 10% of greenhouse gas emission by 2050. By 2050, single-use plastic could account for 5 to 10% of greenhouse gas emission. The report found that India features on the top 100 countries of single-use plastic generation, single-use plastic waste generation at rank 94. The top three being Singapore, Australia, Oman, with a domestic production of 11.8 million metric tons annually and import 2.9 million metric ton. India's net generation of single-use plastic waste from 5.6 MMT and per capita generation is 4 kg. Right? Per capita generation is 4 kg. Rank, rank 94. So top 100 countries in single-use plastic generation. Right? Why? What are the items being banned? And the items which are Central Pollution Control Board CPCB have announced ban are earbuds, balloon sticks, candy, ice cream sticks, cutlery items including plates, cups, glasses, forks, spoons, knives, and trays, sweet boxes, invitation cards, cigarette packs, PVC banners measuring 100 microns, polystyrene for decoration. These are banned. Ministry have already banned polythene bags under 75 microns in September 2021, expanding the limit from earlier 50 microns. From December, the ban will extended to polythene bags under 120 microns. Ministry of Official will explain that ban is being introduced in phases to give manufacturers time to shift to thicker polythene bags that are easier to recycle, because thicker polythene bags are easier to recycle. So gradually they are moving from 75 microns to 50 microns to 75 microns, then to 120 microns. While manufacturers can use the same machine for 50 to 75 micron bags, machinery will be needed to upgrade for 120 microns, right? They need to upgrade their machinery. Okay. According to the Plastic Waste Management Rules 2016, there is also a complete ban on sachets using political metal, for example, storing, packing, selling gutkha, tobacco, and pan masala. They are also banned to use single-use plastic. Why the plastic ban is enforced? Combating the pollution caused by single-use plastics has become significant environmental concern for all nations. Right, throughout all nations, single-use plastic has become a it is environmental concern. It has detrimental effects of later single-use plastic products on terrestrial and aquatic ecosystem, particularly on the marine environment, are acknowledged globally. Ingestion of single-use plastic can damage the reproductive organs. Single-use plastic injections can record lungs and neurological system. Right. So it has severe health issues. It can cause severe health crisis as well. An estimated 150 million tons of plastic garbage are actually floating in our waters. 150 million tons of plastic are actually floating in our waters, harming species and alternating marine ecosystem. Therefore, providing these plastic items and government can reduce plastic waste production. So it is creating as issues of solid waste management issue, and it is also affecting the marine biodiversity, because 150 million tons of plastic garbage is floating on our waters, that is destroying our marine ecosystem and also aquatic ecosystem, that is hampering the aquatic species. We have, because of various anthropogenic activities, around 90% of species has been abolished from earth, and we are responsible for this. So we have to take in collective actions in many dimensions, and one of them is single-use plastic. So government is has taken steps to ban single-use plastic and increase the thickness of polythenes. It is challenging to recycle single-use plastic here. It has spreading the earth ecosystem and affected human food chain. Exposure to microplastics such as impacts human food chain may damage human health various ways. We consume, inhale, and ingest microplastic daily. Right? There are so many microplastics are getting inside our body, and that may cause severe health crisis, health consequences inside our body. Once inside body, the tiny plastic particles may harm organs and may link significant health issues, including hormone-related malignancies, infertility, neurodevelopmental disorders such as autism and ADHD. Plastic degrade into microplastics after entering the various ecosystem. Microplastics act as a platform for the growth of pathogenic microorganisms. Exposure to such contaminated microplastics could add to the associated disease burden and sometimes may even cause death. These microplastics can be also fatal to our health. Right? Scientists have connected exposure relatively low amounts of bisphenol A, BFA, a chemical used in plastics, to various health issues including cancer, decreased immunological functions, early honest poverty, obesity, diabetes, hyperactivity. Regular incineration of medical waste containing PVC and phthalates, a chemical added to plastics, raises public health issues due to release of toxins and mercury. Long-term exposure can lead to cancer, congenital impairments, hormonal abnormalities, decreased sperm counts, infertility, and immune damage. So it has single-use plastics are various health can cause various health crises in human beings, and it has various repercussions not only to human beings, also to other animals, and also in aquatic water bodies. So collective action by the government, mm, local government, at community level, at local level, decentralized action can helpful to eradicate then from this environmental concern. So here the lecture ends. Thank you.